Let's talk about the Madden 24 cover and some more leaks that are going around. Now, every time around this year, everyone in the Madden community starts wondering the same thing. Who exactly is going to be on the cover of the next Madden game? Now, over the last few years, the Madden cover has consistently been leaked around this time, and although it was not confirmed for a while, it usually wound up being true more times than not. Before Madden 19, we saw some Antonio Brown promotional cover art going around. For Madden 20, we saw the same thing with Mahomes. For Madden 21, we also saw it with Lamar Jackson. And of course, last year we saw it with John Madden. Now, so far this year, we have not actually seen any promotional cover art, but we do have a pretty decent idea of the few final candidates for the Madden 24 cover. And we also got some other leaks and rumors floating around that we have to talk about. And in the coming weeks and months, we're going to start getting more and more Madden 24 information. So make sure you're subscribed with the bell icon on so you don't miss any of these important videos when they drop. We're so close to 500K, so if everybody watching just subscribed, we could literally hit that number today. The first cover option we have to talk about is John Madden once again, because it is rumored that EA may continue to stick with the John Madden covers going forward. After he passed a little over a year ago, we all kind of knew that he would be on the cover of 23, and if you go back to over 20 years ago, he used to cover Madden every single year before they started doing official cover athletes. Now obviously for 23 they wanted to honor him by putting him on the cover, but it's been rumored that they want to continue to honor him since the game is named after him, and he could continue to be on the cover every year. However, I don't think they're going to stop doing cover athletes. I think they're going to get back to doing cover athletes, but what most likely is going to happen is there's going to be the special all Madden edition cover that John Madden will continue to cover for either the foreseeable future or until the end of time. And I think that's the right way to go about it because the game is named after him. He's no longer with us, so if you want to keep honoring him, you can put him on the all Madden edition every year because typically there are multiple different cover versions for Madden, so he should just have his own standalone cover, and then the standard edition can have the cover athletes, which we're going to get into in just a second. It's something that fans of the series I think want to see going forward. It was well received for Madden 23, so there's no reason to not continue that trend going forward. While we're on the topic of John Madden, have any of you ever checked out his biography? It's called Madden by Brian Burwell. I'm currently listening to the audiobook using today's video sponsor, Audible. I've been using Audible for a few years now, and here is a pro tip. It's actually great to use while you're playing Madden. Let's be real, the in-game commentary is bland, it is what it is, so listening to an audiobook or a podcast while you're messing around in the game or playing solo challenges is way better. And with the draft coming up later this month, I've been listening to some podcasts to try to catch up on the top college prospects. I didn't watch as much college football this past season, so I am a little out of the loop on some of these college prospects, so I'm trying to figure out who I want my team to draft, even though in the end they're usually going to take the guy that I don't want them to take anyway. Audible offers an incredible selection of audiobooks across every genre, from bestsellers and new releases to celebrity memoirs, motivation, wellness, business, and more. And here's the best part, new members can try Audible free for 30 days. And as an Audible member, you can choose one title a month to keep from the entire catalog, including the latest bestsellers and new releases. The newly included selection of titles makes Audible's membership so much more valuable and gives members a chance to discover new favorites and new formats, like the exclusive Words and Music series or a podcast. Let Audible help you discover new ways to laugh, be inspired, or be entertained. New members can try it for free for 30 days. Visit audible.com/EricR or text EricR to 500-500 to try Audible free for 30 days. Now let's talk about the 5 potential cover athletes. These are the guys that have the biggest chance to land the cover, and really it's just a matter of who EA picks, but also if the athlete wants to be on it, because in the past there have been athletes that have actually turned the cover down, but of these 5 guys, one of them is more than likely to be on the cover based on rumors, but also just kind of based on common sense. The first guy is Jalen Hurts. We know the Madden cover is typically a quarterback cover. We've seen more quarterbacks on the cover than any other position, and for good reason. He just had a breakout season. He was one of the most electric players in the league last year, and he made it to the Super Bowl where he came up just short of winning it all. He's also the quarterback of a franchise that has a very big die-hard fan base in the Eagles. It would also be pretty cool to have another Eagles quarterback on the cover all these years later. If you remember back in the PS2 days, Donovan McNabb was one of the best QBs in the league, and he covered the game. Sticking with quarterbacks, the next cover candidate is Josh Allen. I think he also had a really good chance to make it last year, if not for the passing of John Madden, but he's one of of the best players in the league. He's on one of the hottest teams in the league, and he's also a part of a really passionate fan base. The Bills Mafia would go absolutely crazy for a Josh Allen Madden cover, so I think he definitely has a chance. Now, obviously, there's some other QBs like Mahomes, who is the top of the top in the league, but he's covered 2 Madden games over the past few years, so I don't think they're going to put him back on it again, although he will have an outside shot just off the fact that he won another MVP in the Super Bowl. But I think they like to try to get some new faces in there more times than not, and Josh Allen is really the perfect candidate for this. He's a QB, he's one of the hottest names in the league, he's one of the most exciting players to watch, and there's also never been a Buffalo Bills player on the cover of Madden, so that's always kind of a nice thing if you can get a cover athlete for a team that has never actually been on the cover before. It's just a nice added extra. Now let's switch it up to the defensive side of the ball, and the only candidate here that makes real sense is Micah Parsons. He's young, he's one of the best players in the league already, and he's on one of the biggest fan bases in all of sports. Now, over the years, they've definitely missed out on some other opportunities to put defensive players on the cover, such as JJ Watt, Aaron Donald, TJ Watt, and some other guys, but it's just not typical for a defensive player to really land the cover of Madden. It's very rare. We've seen cover athletes for over 20 plus years, and there's only been 3 defensive guys on the cover, and one of those guys had to share the cover with an offensive player. Even when you have a great player like an Aaron Donald or a TJ Watt in some of these past years, it's just hard to beat out the offensive guys because offensive players sell tickets and offensive players sell Madden copies. But if there's one defensive player that has a shot this year, I think it's Micah Parsons over everybody else. I think they kind of missed the window with Aaron Donald. TJ Watt was injured for most of last year, so that's typically not something they're going to do in terms of putting an injured player on the cover because his hype is a little bit lower than it was in the previous couple of years. But right now, Micah Parsons is at an all-time high, and also he's a huge Madden fan. He streams Madden, he's very active in the Ultimate Team community, he's very active in the Madden Twitter community. People know how much Micah Parsons loves Madden, so that's another reason he may be a good fit for the cover. And again, when you play for the Cowboys, that's always going to give you a little extra just because it is such a big fan base. The next guy we have to talk about is who I believe is more than likely going to be the cover athlete, and that is Justin Jefferson. He's one of the most exciting players in the league. He's had the hottest start to a career for an offensive player that I've ever seen. If you exclude quarterbacks, obviously, he's had the hottest start out of anybody. The only guys that even kind of come close to how he came out the gate on fire would be Randy Moss and Odell Beckham, and we saw Odell Beckham cover the game very shortly after bursting onto the scene. Justin Jefferson is one of the more beloved players in the league. Every year, his numbers get even crazier. He gets even better, and you know, when you add in things like the gritty and all the showmanship that he has, he's just a guy that a lot of fans love, and he is the perfect type of guy to cover Madden. I really think it's his cover to turn down. I think that he is going to be the #1 pick for this cover, and I think it'll sell a lot of copies with him on it. And last but not least, if it's not Justin Jefferson, this is the other guy that I think has just as much of a case, and that's Joe Burrow. He's probably the most exciting young QB in the league. Again, Mahomes is the top guy, but he's been on the cover a few times. Then you've got Allen, you've got Burrow, you've got Justin Herbert, you've got Jalen Hurts, you've got a few guys in that mix, but I think Joe Burrow has the most fanfare around him. People just love Joe Shiesty. It is what it is, and he's had 2 really great seasons. He got to the Super Bowl, he got to the AFC Championship last year, he came off of a national championship a few years before that. He's just been on a very hot run, and really the only thing he's missing is to kind of just win it all at this point, and he's only just a few years in, so people are expecting him to eventually achieve that. I think Joe Burrow has just as much of a case as anybody to be on this cover, but I think it truly comes down to him and Justin Jefferson over the field, as they seem to be 2 of the more beloved and exciting players in the league right now. Now, in terms of some of the leaks and rumors we've been hearing, some of these kind of date back to last year, but we're still hearing them again during this same time of year, and the biggest one is crossplay. We've been hearing this for multiple years now, but it sounds like we're finally going to be getting that with Madden 24, especially since they went crossplay with FIFA this past year. You all know when they do stuff with FIFA, it almost always comes to Madden the year after. They've even done it with some of their other games. Madden is the biggest game left for EA that is not crossplay, and from what we're hearing, it's finally going to be that in 24, which is something a lot of people have been waiting for. We've also been hearing since last year that Madden is rumored to be coming to the Switch. I'm really unsure if it's going to happen, but once again, it is a big rumor going around right now that they want to put the game on the Switch, and I think part of that has to do with the fact that 2K is also making an arcade game, and 2K has said that they want to be on all platforms, so I think EA may be looking at it and saying, well, if 2K is going to eventually have a game on the Switch. They want to also have a game on the Switch to compete. So it makes sense why they would want to go to Switch. I'm just unsure why it hasn't happened yet. And lastly, another big rumor slash leak that's been going around is supposedly this year, PC should finally be going over to the new gen. And they did this with FIFA last year as well. So again, it's kind of following suit with FIFA does something and then Madden does it. FIFA finally put the PC version to next gen last year. It sounds like there's a good chance Madden will do that again this year. And if they don't do it, well, the PC community is going to be pretty mad because they were already mad last year. They were mad the year before that. If they don't get it this year, they're going to be really, really fed up. But it does sound like, from what everybody's been hearing, that that is in the plans for Madden 24. Now, if you want to know about some other leak news we heard about Madden 24 about a month ago, make sure you check out this video right here on the screen.